Hey, how's everybody going today? It's just Dave alone today because Connor's voice isn't doing too well, as I understand it. Hopefully, it gets well soon. But I have a solo reaction here, and this is from a group called Alla Xul Elu, and the name of the track is Cemetery Symphony featuring Mastermind. Now, I don't have a whole lot of information about this group of rappers, except they are from Ohio, and that is my home state. And for anybody that is interested, nobody is from Ohio. There's no such person. They might have been born there, but they definitely weren't raised. Anyhow, let's get listening to this.
Let's go. Walk with me. Talk with me. Life is just a blur, yes sir. At any given day and time, yes, death can occur. Can I R.I.P. when I'm covered in dirt? Don't give a fuck if you love or hate me. For what it's worth, I guess I'm cursed to walk around Mother Earth in limbo, suicidalist doing a skydive out the window. Let it be known across my tombstone, motherfucker, never die. My soul will forever roam, motherfucker. You might see me in your sleep or see me in the street. Hit me on my Ouija board, let's have a wicked meet and greet. You might hear me sounding like Satan when I speak to a beat. So just pray for a demon, I feel the fire at my feet. Go ahead and condemn me, go ahead, hate me till infinity. I guess I'll just play my part in the symphony. We all gon' meet our maker eventually. Watch me pimp strut around the cemetery endlessly. Let's go.
Yeah, so alright, so obviously they're a bit of a horrorcore. I did look up a little bit of, the preview write-ups of what they're about, and yeah, they're definitely horrorcore. And hey, I'm from Ohio, so, just that whole Midwestern region, right? Whether you're talking about hip-hop or you're talking about, heavy metal or industrial, if you will, in the hip-hop world, you would have had obviously people like these guys, but Insane Clown Posse, Ephraim, even Bone Thug and Harmony, they had a song called Ouija Board, and here they are seeing Ouija Board here. And then even as far as like industrial music and things like that, who would you have? Nine Inch Nails, more or less, Marilyn Manson, the list goes on. And not to, undercut like, the people from like Virginia or Florida, like the Gen Torturers and Guar and things like that. But, there's just so much more about that. And this is something that, is pretty nostalgic to me so far because, this really makes me think about those old shows, where people are pulling out the guillotines and torture wheels and, sparks are everywhere. It's just there's a long history in the Midwest of this kind of thing. And, it's sort of really, I guess there's just something about, living in these very industrial areas, of just, everybody, would be working in these factories and they end up being deaf or really honestly dead at like 55. It's just a really different area, so this music really fits the zeitgeist of the time, in my opinion.
Let's go. Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery Symphony, sip beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fucking nation, put that on my tombstone. Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery Symphony, sip beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fucking nation, put that on my tombstone. Fantasize my death, I always die in my dreams. And when it rains, I pretend the skies are crying for me. The face of death is always ugly, but this music makes it beautiful. The booth is like my casket and the studio's my funeral. Rose of the lonely with nothing to do. Always stoned and alone, blowing smoke at the moon. And that's just how it be when you lay Happiness is always out of reach, but yet we try to grab it. Now we're laughing at the sadness and the madness. I'm unhealthy, unhappy, and lying awake. It's like death is a taxi and life is the way. I'm as social as a zombie while my body's rotting comfortably. I know the souls are lonely, I can only keep them company. Sitting on a tombstone as the emptiness, it empties me. Cemetery symphony, the crickets seem to sing for me.
Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery symphony, we sip beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I think that every single one of us has had our moments where we just visited cemeteries quite arbitrarily, not knowing anybody, and there was just something very, I don't know, it's almost spiritual in a way. Some cemeteries are probably more, acceptable to kind of visit like that, like a Hollywood Forever or something like that. But it's just, there's just something interesting about that. He's just saying sitting on a tombstone, talk about something that I don't think anybody would ever really do unless it's a bench there, I guess. But even then, you're kind of like, I don't want to sit on this. So, I don't know, it's groovy though.
Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone. Reluctantly my company, the dead and buried away. My spirit standing at the cemetery gates. Very many mistakes that I made in my life has led to this. A pessimist, let the negative take precedence. A definite estimate of the time that I will reside in this place where corpses feed the earth. And that amount of time I ain't even worth. Indefinitely infinity. Raised in the gutter, dead to me is divinity. The vicinity, a field of graves, a field of dreams. Cemetery symphony, sing harmonies, filled with screams. Still it seems they go unheard, and I'm sure I got what I deserve. No reverse or return. I'm cursed to live the afterlife that I have earned. No family there to mourn me, but I know I'm not alone. I'm preoccupied with thoughts while my body rots to bones. Roam below this moon glow, and I know you're there in heaven, watching me walk these roads, not knowing where I am headed, because life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it.
You know what? I just wish I had the lyrics open. Even if I did have the lyrics open, it's not so much to read them, but to kind of see who's singing. I'd be really curious to know, one is like how old these members are, what bands they might have been in, or groups, because a lot of it really sounds super familiar, at least from, from where I grew up, and you guys definitely tell the influence, or especially from, the metal rap that was very common around that time. In particular, Mushroom Head and old Bone Thug and Harmony, whenever they have their more slower raps, there's really a strong influence. And not just them, but just a whole bunch of bands and groups, rappers that were around that, that were kind of in this space. Just very Midwestern sounding. This is taking me back, man.
But your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone. Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone. Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cemetery symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone. Life's like a blur, death is
God, I love the hook. I love the production of this. I just the beat, you know, doesn't have a whole lot going on with it, but it's still so cool, so large and so round. And the singers, like just the way that they're mixing together all the vocals and the various, I don't know, everybody's just taking turns and adding what they need to, but that hook is just something that you could definitely sing along to. If I was a singer, I'd probably be singing right now, but that would just destroy this entire reaction if I did sing to it, but great. Wow.
Cherry Symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow. Never gave a fuck and they should put that on my tombstone. Life's like a blur, death is coming too slow. Tell you not to do it, but your life is like a tombstone. Cherry Symphony, we sit beneath the moon glow.
Got a little bit of thunder and lightning over here. Wow. Yeah, it's like they really recorded everything out there, like they're just recording the neighborhood at this point, huh? Wow. Alright. Alright. Wow, okay. This is good. So, yeah, this was requested by KH Maggot 67. I really appreciate this. The only thing that I was really worried about was because I'm like getting better at this, right? Where if I see a 6 minute song, or if I know something's about to be 6 minutes, chances are I'm not gonna really be listening to it. Even though it's kind of interesting because we've been doing reactions that are a little bit longer like that, but even groups that I know and like, I never want to listen to things that are that long. But hey, it was worthy of my 6 minutes, and I don't know, man. It's just nostalgic. It's hard to really react to it just outside of the fact that it's groovy, and hopefully I will be hearing more from this band.